Hey, yo, we're not dead. I assure you we're not dead. Hi, everybody. Just two of us tonight, Francisco and Charles. Andrew had I don't know, a prior engagement. I have no idea, but he won't be joining us for tonight at least. But hey, the show's back on. We've been on a hiatus due to work-related matters for myself. But that'll get taken care of soon enough. So, hey, Charles, how's it going, man?
Back to life, back to reality. We're back, everybody.
Yay.
And plus, I went on vacation, so, I went to New Orleans. I was at the Superdome.
Nolans.
So that was the reason why I couldn't be around.
Actually, I want to talk to you about that experience. What's your verdict, your review of the Superdome?
Superdome, excellent. Very
really
packed, unlike going to South Florida and going to the Dolphin Stadium where it's just hot and muggy. Very dedicated crowd base. Everybody's in there probably because they're winning. I question every fan's loyalty when their team sucks. But I liked it a lot. Of course, my buddies went. One of them's a big Saints fan. Of course, I wore a Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat just to kind of give the finger to them. We sat on the Saints side near the middle, so let's say I was public enemy number one. But the inside's beautiful. The outside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium is interesting too. It's a very lively set of people. The concession isn't actually that terrible. I do have comments about whether or not people should be standing all the time, drunkenly yelling "F you" to the team that can't recognize them because you're in the nosebleeds, because you're broke, and they ain't broke. But, you don't need to be gyrating your hips like you're dancing for Alvin Kamara's extra money, lady. He ain't gonna call you. He ain't gonna be your boyfriend, chick. Sorry. There's some personal issues there. But as a stadium itself, and I've been to, this would be my third football stadium because I've been to Raymond James when I was younger, ironically going against the Saints at that time. And I've been to, the Miami Dolphin Stadium because that goes through like 5 different names, so I don't even remember it. But this time we saw Bucks and New Orleans Saints playing, so that was good because it was technically a rivalry game for those who cannot see me because I'm never on camera. I have my fingers up because there's no real rivalry when you're the Bucks because you just suck for a long time, and the Saints have legacy. But I liked it. If I ever go back there again, I can recommend it to people. Go to that stadium itself. It's always kind of jam-packed, and they're so loud, man, but in a good way. Loud and being involved as opposed to being loud and lazy.
All right. Food? Did you eat food?
Oh, I ate so much food. Like New Orleans as a whole, you guys need to check it out. I will say, to give a little spoiler into my review, I was there for just a day too long. I was there for about 4 whole days. We flew in at 7 in the morning on Friday, and we left Monday night. So under 3 days, but I liked it a lot. There's places that you should go. I guess this would be my early non-sponsors. Places like Cafe Du Monde, which I know someone told me is overrated. I don't think it's overrated. I thought it was good. I had some good places like Daisy Dukes, Brothers. It's a convenience store, but they had the best fried chicken I ever had. At a place called Mother's, which I tried out their po' boy, but apparently there's like 5 different variations. The club scene's nice on Bourbon Street, but if you don't like the club scene where everything is just out to get your money and people being obnoxious, you definitely check out Frenchman Street. More relaxed, get your food, get your drinks, listen to live music, go from there. Hours on end. I ended up going to BMC, which had this live band that was starting out with some Lauryn Hill when we walked in at 12 in the morning. But then as the music kind of went on, the mood went on, they started going into singing some Tupac. So I got the whitest guy I've ever seen talking and rapping to me about how do you want it. And then he went to Big Pimpin', and I was just having a good time there, gentlemen. Get your beignets, get your po' boys. We went to Dini's Seafood. I had myself some catfish and shrimp for very cheap price. The drink specialties are nice, but I always encourage people, if you can travel, go see how you like it. But I would go back there. I would probably cut a day short. Also, you got to learn how to hustle Harrah's, which is great because that's their casino, and they give you free drinks through play. So what I did, Francisco, is I took like $5. I went to the penny slots. So what I would do is put my money in, order my drink, play like 1 or 2 safe hands. Once I got my drink, I would just cash out, go to the other side of the casino at Harrah's, cash back in, order my drink. So I'm double fisting it. Like I'm a college girl in spring break, man. And then someone talked to me, and I said, "But I'm thirsty. How can I play if I'm thirsty?" Needless to say, that guy didn't like me. It wasn't a play eras, but I liked it a lot. And of course, we went for the football event, which was a grand old time. because football is always fun.
Yeah.
Maybe, unless you're a Miami Dolphins fan.
It can. We can make, Dolphins fans can make it fun if you you have to look at it from a different perspective as far as the game is concerned. I think of it as like a comedy act in some cases.
I always thought my life was a tragedy, but now it's a comedy brought to you by the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, think about this, right? You guys are expected to suck, unlike a team such as the Atlanta Falcons, who had these playoff aspirations and now stand at 1-6.
Yeah.
So that's when football is not really fun. Football is fun when you're supposed to.
Football is
not fun.
Lots of empty seats out there in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not the Superdome, but yeah, gosh, man, the Falcons have been. I mean, there's a lot of awful teams this season. The Bengals are our biggest threat to the tank this season, and we'll see how that works out in the future. But games on tap. We got Game 2 of the World Series. We got only 2 NHL games tonight. The Lightning and Penguins. Penguins on their second game back-to-back in Florida. They lost last night. I was at the game yesterday with my dad, my brother-in-law, my nephew. Good times, lots of Yinzers, lots of people from Pittsburgh. It's all got in a Pirates jersey, and that's embarrassing. I mean, gosh. Ottawa Senators play as well, but nobody's gonna go see that game. They are awful, and nobody wants to see them. NBA, we got actual basketball back. Miami Heat are back. Jimmy Butler is here.
But he's not playing.
Huh?
He's not playing.
No, he's playing. No, he's playing. Jimmy Butler is playing. Yeah.
No, he's out for a personal reason.
Really?
Just as
already?
updated right now at 5:58 p.m. Eastern time.
Are you freaking kidding me?
You're fake news, Francisco.
Oh
Don't
my
give
God,
those
I'm
Miami
already
Heat folks who
behind.
are coming back
Well,
from their hard day at work.
We're facing the
LeBron
Grizzlies.
and Anthony Davis stink it up.
We're facing the Grizzlies, so
I think we'll be okay.
yeah. Well, we'll at least get to see Tyler Hero, so that'll be exciting. I don't know
Especially
if you
since Dion's not playing.
yeah, especially since Dion's complaining. So I don't know if you saw the games last night, but we'll talk about those as well. I saw both of them actually. Well, no, I saw the second game actually. I didn't see the Raptors game.
The West Coast game.
Yeah, I saw that game. That was a good game.
I watched the first game with the Raptors.
Okay.
I didn't watch the Lakers Clippers. I watched the clips of it.
The second game was very, very good. I enjoyed that very much so. All right, and gosh, World Series Game 1. We'll talk about that. I'm just trying to get all of our social media stuffs out there so people can look at us and pay attention to us. But let's see.
Love me, senpai.
Yeah. Anyways, if not, I'll just share it like crazy on social media. Anyways, afterwards, that's the way you hustle in the podcast game at this moment now. So, all right. And yeah, we'll talk about. We've got Gottlieb Goons. We got a Better Know minor league team. We've got everything. So, I guess we could start with Game 1 of the World Series. I mean, we are here. A lot has happened. Basically, almost the entire MLB postseason has happened. But I guess we're gonna have a baseball extravaganza once the World Series is over, where we'll just wrap up the entire season from the bottom of the barrel in Miami all the way to the top, which might be in DC or might be back in Houston. But as of right now, I predicted, and I said it yesterday. I said I thought the Nationals would upset, and they did. They very much did so. And I thought Garrett Cole was due for a loss. I thought he was due. There's no way he hasn't lost since May 22nd, and wins and losses aren't really that big of a deal anymore now with advanced metrics in baseball. But if you haven't lost in some sort of way since May 22nd, you've been doing a lot right. But he was due. I mean, just so happened he was due in Game 1 of the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, would you rather just lose at the biggest stage of the game, or somewhere in the in between? But remember, you're good, you're great, but it's a long season, and when you've had X amount of starts, probably about 30 for him, and then postseason included, you're going to get gassed a little bit. Same thing kind of going with Scherzer. Also, those bats went silent up until that 8th inning when they started to mount their comeback a little bit.
Yeah, but a lot of the Nationals came to play. I'll tell you that much. They did come to play. Yeah, it did take a while for them to get back into it. They scored. The Astros came up 2-0 in the first. Then the Nationals got one, and they got another, and then they scored 3 runs in that 5th inning, which kind of basically that was it. That was all they needed after that. The Astros mounted some runs after that. The 7th and the 8th inning. 8th inning especially, crucial moment that might have cost them the game. I'm not entirely sure, but it probably did. Kudos, Juan Soto. Juan Soto, who is, he is, I guess,
chosen one.
Yeah, Miguel Cabrera 2.0, I would say. A lot of similar.
He's only 20.
Well, I mean, similarities concerning. They already showed there was the graphic that he is the second youngest cleanup hitter in World Series history, and the youngest is Miguel Cabrera back in that 2003 series 15 years ago now. Or, 16 years ago. God, the Marlins.
It's right. But he's having a good season, too. Coming into it real quickly before we go into the playoffs. Batting average 282, 34 home runs, RBIs 108. The strikeouts are kind of intense at 132.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's still young. I think this is his really only first official season.
Right.
For his career.
I think so.
You're hitting with a very, and when we say official, here's the thing for those who don't really follow baseball, they do this weird thing where if you only play a quarter of a season as a rookie, that next season kind of rolls over, because that's what I think happened to Aaron Judge. But I think this is his first complete start to finish.
Right. It's like the September call-ups don't really count,
Correct. But he's a unit of a man at 6'2". He has kind of this patience to him of hitting, and then if there's any time for him to get hot, it's definitely now. Right.
He's definitely already, I guess, early favorite for World Series MVP. He already made the more for game one. We'll see what happens.
It's either going to be him. Or it's going to be a pitcher. And Scherzer has just kind of looked gassed from the last 2 series that he had because remember he didn't play that well. In the NLCS, I think he had a couple runs let up early, because he had a similar first inning double runs delivered onto him against not the Dodgers, but of course my brain was it the Dodgers? Yeah, it was the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, the NLCS, yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the NLCS. The NLCS was against the Cardinals. Yeah, Dodgers. The Dodgers LOL'd.
Pooped the bed.
Yes, exactly.
They pooped the bed.
And they didn't fire Dave Roberts, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, well, that's why, folks, we're doing the all baseball extravaganza, because you have 3 guys who come from different dichotomies of baseball fandom, and we just look at everything from all the craziness happening there. But good for Washington to get this going. Here's the thing, as a fan of the sport, but not a fan of either team, game 1 doesn't mean anything at all. You watch a little bit, go from there, because it's a best-of-7 series. But as the sport itself, taking game 1 when there's a 14-point win-loss differential, when you're a wild card team, where they're supposed to have this, once again, quotation marks, you guys can't see me, murderer's row kind of pitching lineup with the Verlander, Greinke, Cole, in there. I don't think anybody gave Washington that edge, and it's like, well, Scherzer kind of put the bed a little bit in the morning, but Cole, he's there.
I don't understand why. I don't understand why people didn't give DC the edge. I mean, they already beat the Dodgers. That was one.
They were the hottest team come June, right?
Yeah.
Or post July, 1 or 2.
Exactly. They beat the Dodgers already. They handily took care of the Cardinals.
Oh my God, completely. And they're the one with most rest too. So I think people forget what rest is, because Astros went to war with the Yankees a little bit. 6 games is 1 game differential from a full 7-game series, but it is exhausting.
Yeah.
But
so
I don't know.
And once again, I thought, if you've seen the Nationals play, and they're in our division as the Marlins, and the Marlins struggled mightily against the Nationals. Them and the Braves. For the Phillies, well, the Phillies lost their division because they couldn't beat us, which is weird. But that the Nationals, well, there was a point. Yeah, they were 19-31, only 3 games up on the Marlins, really, and it looked like they were going to blow it up and just kind of start over, and looked like Bryce Harper was going to get the last laugh. But then they turned it around. They stuck to it, and gosh, but that pitching that the Nationals have just as good as pitchers, especially this postseason. Max Scherzer, Cy Young winner, multiple Cy Young winner. Steven Strasburg, great pitcher. Anibal Sanchez, who has revived his career. Out
His buddy from Detroit, Max Scherzer.
Exactly.
It's amazing that they have 3 players in this World Series that were part of the Detroit Tigers World Series that couldn't get anything done.
Right. Well,
because was Annabelle on that second run, or am I misquoting? Because I know you definitely had Max and you had Verlander.
Yeah. So he might have been, or at least he was on that 2013 squad that blew that series against the Red Sox.
That's true. I'm checking now, but continue.
And once again, and he
was in the 2012 as well.
Okay, so he was on that squad. So yeah, because he was on the Marlins, and I think the Marlins traded him to Detroit. I'm not sure, but
Jim Leland is a terrible manager, and that's why 3 of his outstanding guys that were on that pitching are now in the World Series.
Their bullpen management was awful. Their bullpen was awful, actually. You can say their bullpen was awful, and of course they had the Dynasty Giants that they were facing in that World Series. But the 2013 series, they probably should have won that series against the Red Sox. Anyways, the Astros. So 8th inning, guy on second. George Springer is up. He hits a massive, massive fly ball that I would say was, 2 feet away from being a home run? Like 2 feet to the right, and it would have been gone. But it hit that part of the right field wall that just goes up like 5 feet for some reason. And in those weird tiny dimensions, that tiny ballpark there. And George Springer only ends up, on second in that play?
He did not hustle, man.
Well, I would, according to his explanation and from what I saw when I saw it happen, I don't think it was his fault. If anybody noticed, I forgot who was on second base when that happened, but whoever it was actually tagging up when it was occurring. So I'm not sure if Springer was looking at him or was looking at the ball, but either way, the guy tagged up, and I think he held up just for that very reason. The guy tagged up and was able to score from second to get that 4th run, but Springer could only be on second base after that. So I don't think given the same situation, I probably would have held up too. He's not going to pass the guy on second base. He probably, and maybe.
So it becomes the fact that none of the guys knew how to run properly. Except
I think I put it more on the guy who was on second base than I put it on Springer, because that guy didn't read the play very, very well, to be honest. Or I don't even know what the third base coach was showing him. Maybe he told him to tag up. I'm not even sure. I don't know if anybody's even discussed that.
Well, let's think about that for a second, because you're coming from second out. You can't see the right side of the field that well, because when you're so close to the wall, you can't tell if you have to really rely on the movements of the outfielder to either kind of display physically that he effed up and dropped the ball or couldn't get to it in time, because there's always that kind of panic look that outfielders have when they get the ball.
The ball was in a spot. If he caught that, it would have been like a miracle catch. So, but it caromed off the wall in a way that in any ballpark, anywhere, the guy should be at third base. That should be a triple. Yeah. But I don't blame Springer for not just blasting out of the gate there, because I think he might have been looking at his teammate on second and thought maybe the ball was closer to what it was, or I'm not even sure. I don't know if I don't think he thought he got all of it. I'm not sure. But that's my interpretation of how I saw it on the replays, slow motion, things like that. And the guy tagged up. So I'm not. so he's holding up the guy. He's not going to pass him, and he's not going to stand there next to him on second base waiting for him to tag up and then keep running. You know, given the situation, if I was in the same shoes as Springer, I probably would have held up too, because I'm not going past halfway first base if the guy's like still tagging up.
So let me ask you this then, Francisco, because we in the sports goof worlds would call this as a boneheaded play in theory, but is a man who is a outstanding professional like Corey Springer going to get an exception to everything? Oh, I'm sorry, George Springer. I'm thinking Corey because I'm thinking Cody Bellinger, because they all look the same to Charles. Are we going to give them excuse because these are premier athletes or pseudo premier athletes versus your, just called up rookies or guys who are journeymen who it's easy to lay the blame to them?
I'm giving Springer the benefit of the doubt, also because this is like his 5th straight World Series game with a home run. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, I'm not exactly. He's been here before. He knows what it takes, and he's and I don't and remember, in that situation, they're down 2 runs at that point. You don't want to make a dumb base running out at that point in the game. He could still, even if he's on second, he can still score on a base hit.
Yeah, so how many outs was at the point? Was it 2 outs or 1 out or no outs?
It was at that point in the game, I think there might have been 1 out. I'm not even entirely sure.
That could be risky. You're trying not to get to a double play either.
Exactly. So either way, you don't want to make a dumb base running mistake in the World Series when you're down by 2. So I don't think he wanted to be caught in that situation. If he's on first, at least he's on base or something. But he's on second, still scoring position. Still a scoring position. Yeah. So the Astros, in the end, couldn't find a way to bring him home. And they lost. So that's just the way things go.
So lineup tonight, it's Greinke, Verlander next, right? Okay.
So game 2 is Strasburg versus Verlander today. And then game 3... in DC, we'll have Greinke versus Sanchez, and then we'll see what happens in Game 4. We'll probably see Scherzer and those guys again.
For every home run that Verlander gives up, how many times he's going to reference the balls are juiced? It's not me. I'm that kind of ballpark.
How are the ball juiced? This is like the playoffs. The ball seems like it's not juiced at this point. Really? So the pitching has actually gotten better in the postseason. Now, whether it's by Major League Baseball switching the balls out just to have more compelling games, bring up that drama. It was a 5-4 game. It's not like it was.
He's still the pitcher throughout the season that has had the most long balls connected to him.
Well,
he's still presumed AL Cy Young.
His circumstances for tonight. I mean, he's playing in Houston, bandbox of a ballpark. I don't know. No excuses this time, dude. All right? If you're giving them up, you're giving them up. It's the Astros. It's the World Series. Or no, gosh darn it. It's the Nationals, sorry. It's the World Series. I mean, you got Zimmerman, you got Soto. They've got some good batters on that side as well. All right? You got Rendon.
Trey Turner does well, too.
Exactly. And he got us tacos.
He got his tacos, exactly.
Crap. I haven't even gone to Taco Bell today. I mean...
They changed the menu. They are not my non-sponsor of the week. They got that I like.
That is true. I didn't even know when they did it. They changed the menu at the chalupas, the number 6. They only offer it in chicken now. They don't offer the beef version. I don't get it.
Francisco, the only other thing close that I think, and please, fans who are not offended, you just have to see where I'm coming from here. The only thing I think that could be worse for us, for any of humanity, to avoid another kind of Holocaust or crimes against humanity, such as Sierra Leone, the only thing I can feel true to that is Taco Bell getting rid of like the cheesy beefy potato burrito or the Los tacos.
I made a personal version of that.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. And great for you that goes up, but it's not that 17 just spat in my food kind of deliciousness. I need to understand why, because it hurts my heart, because I had Taco Bell the other day for the first time in like 3 months, and I was just severely disappointed. I didn't even get my usual. I was like, all right, they're gonna make me try this new streamlined thing, sure, but I guess my only saving grace is if I'm like been drinking at 2 in the morning. I guess I gotta get a Crunchwrap Supreme. But the minute they take that off, I'm out. I'm done.
Okay.
You take that, I'm gone. The Crunchwrap.
All right.
That was like years ago. I know I'm dating myself here. It still is.
Well, what did you say? You cut out for a bit.
Oh, just like, when they had the chicken Crunchwrap Supreme, they got rid of that too. But if they got rid of the Crunchwrap Supreme, I just have to quit, man. I gotta go.
Oh, no, they shouldn't. Especially they introduced the triple one, and the breakfast one. They have the breakfast one too. I haven't tried the breakfast. One.
I have. It's pretty good. But the thing is, I don't want to go to Taco Bell for breakfast. I'm going to go to Taco Bell because either I've been drinking or I hate myself.
Yeah, you go to Taco Bell like at 1 a.m. and then, after you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Make some cool people that way. It's just terrible. It's terrible. It's another crime against humanity. They roast those tacos. How dare they?
All right, so we got game 2 tonight. You think?
Who are you calling?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the 2-0. Yeah, the 2-0 series lead. I think they're gonna do it. I think your comments about Verlander. He might be on the downswing of his. He is on the downswing of his career. Hall of Fame career. We'll say that. I'll say that. But he hasn't been. What has been his postseason numbers? Do they even have it here on the MLB? 2019 postseason. He's got 1-2.
Messed them up a little bit.
1-2, 3.7 ERA, 24 innings pitched, 29 strikeouts. So it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
You're welcome. He put some shill shock in him.
All right, well, and in Strasburg, let's see his numbers this postseason. He's 3-0, 1.64 ERA, 22 innings pitched, 33 strikeouts. I don't.
Right there, man.
Let's take a look at the national. Okay, the Astros' opponents leading up to the World Series. So, first round, they almost got beat by the Rays. The Rays gave them a hard time. The Rays have good pitching. So, okay, so I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to go back to the ALCS to look at the Yankees. All right. Did the Astros? Would you say that they faced great pitching against the Yankees?
Well, we just tired them out. Look, we were more focused on bullpen. We had Luis Severino start a few innings. We had poor CC die in front of me.
Oh, God.
I haven't cried. Okay, Francisco and people out there, I don't cry in sports. I think you're being over dramatic to really do it unless someone died or they're retiring. You feel a little emotional, misty-eyed. This man's arm literally came out of socket like an action figure.
Oh, my God.
And then him trying to cover his face, and then he threw that one last pitch, and I'm like,
oh God, the feels, the feels.
And he's dead. It was hard. It was hard. But to long story short, our pitching is not excellent. So James Paxton, there is hope for him. I'm really hoping next season we get Garrett Cole. Brought the range gone now. Hopefully he just sucks this entire World Series, or he didn't. But also, can Houston afford him even? Because they get Greinke's salary. Verlander had a nasty extension. That's going to eat up their monies. And you still have to play all these other guys that are there too. So is it even possible?
There's no salary cap. They have their owner has been willing to spend money, and the Astros have a massive market anyways, and they're popular. I think they'll be able to afford most of their guys. Not all of them, but most of them.
Fly to the Washington thought process, they're going to re-sign Rendon as well, because one time they're going to sign Rendon to a similar contract. But bringing it back to your original question, not stellar pitching.
Okay, so the Astros are facing. Look, I don't think they faced a guy like Strasburg. I don't think they've done that, and I think they're. They might have met their match here. I don't think they're maybe game 3, maybe against Anibal Sanchez, who's he's just having a great postseason run. Maybe he's just having a magical postseason run. Maybe he's just hot. But they might get a win there. But I don't think they'll get the one tonight too. So I'm calling Nats on this one. I am.
Plus, I think that rest makes a difference. I think people are just saying, Charles, you're just stating the obvious to state the obvious. So I think there's a big difference when you've been playing all season plus throughout the entire playoffs and you were able to knock your opponent on a sweep, whereas the other ones had to be very smart and judicious with their pitching, with their pinch hitting, with their designated hitters, and everything in between because they're going to become exhausted.
Well, they what was it? I think the last. I'm not sure. They said the last 8 World Series, the team with the most rest or the least amount of rest going into the series won the World Series. I think the only so far the only outlier was last season's Red Sox, who had more rest than anything else. But I think maybe it's just the Nationals are just hot right now. They are just hot, so it's not a matter of that.
Let me ask you this, sir. What is better for baseball? Is it better for baseball to have this Astros team get the second ring in 3 years on the basis of, hey, we traded for Zach Greinke because we could not in good faith beat the Yankees without him because we were trash and the Yankees were awesome until we got Greinke? Yes, I'm clouding a little bit. Or is it better for the team who has never won a World Series to win the World Series, especially since they're a team that have relocated for what, 10 years? Maybe a little bit longer?
It's been 15 years since they left Montreal. Yeah.
Yeah, so 15 years since they left Montreal. To be in this basis, to lose the top name guy out of salary concerns, to still come in hot is
so
and win it.
Okay, so
What's best for baseball?
What's best for baseball? Well, dynasties are good for business. You've seen it in every sport.
Big market team.
Yeah, the Astros are a big market team. So is DC. DC is also a big market team. If you look at the numbers, they are a big market team. But the Astros winning a second one once again gets you're one championship away from a dynasty, right there. You're all of a sudden in dynasty talks right there. Because it's always the 3P. It's always the 3 and 4 or 5 years. It's always those teams that get called that. So dynasties are good for business. You see it in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors were great for business. The New England Patriots are great for business for the NFL. Even in hockey, the Chicago Blackhawks, they were great for business. There's always that team that everyone loves to hate or hates to love. That has that target on their back every single night. As far as argument I can make for the Nationals is. I guess bringing a title to DC for the first time since 1924. Probably one of the good things happening in DC right now, but we're not going to get into politics any further than that. A good distraction for them. I guess the Capitals won last year and bring the Stanley Cup to DC. So, that could be a narrative too. Like, oh, DC got two different championships in 2 seasons. Because they're not gonna get in the NFL, that's for sure, and probably not in the NBA. So, but I would say for baseball, I would say the Astros winning it again would be good for them. It feeds that dynasty narrative.
See, I get the dynasty narrative, but I think the best thing for baseball is the best thing for the Nationals to get it on the idea of what has been their story for such a long time. You get all these young upstarts, and you couldn't get out. You always had the always close but no cigar. Couldn't even get out the kind of divisional, and then now you're finally making your first run with this manager.
I'll tell you what also would be great for business are the Bryce Harper memes, if they do win it all.
Exactly. And then furthermore, because you mentioned it earlier, and I was going to wow you by bringing them in, but I feel the Nationals with Ovi was almost very similar and of the same pace and move to what's going on with the Nationals.
That's true.
The Capitals and Nationals, because it was like, you should be the best. You know how many years we went with everybody saying it was going to be the Nationals year? They got Dusty Baker. They got 90 wins. They busted out. They got all the other guys. They busted out. They went through McNamara, Ryan Zimmerman, who was playing in his first World Series. Bless the man for staying loyal to the team.
Yeah.
He was able.
He was drafted by the team when they were the Montreal Expos.
He was, and then so you have legacy involved in here. It is the reason why it's good for baseball is because it is the feel-good story. The same way I feel like Kansas City winning was a feel-good story of the small-town team that got everybody in the market, from or a small-town market that had their guys that they basically drafted and developed.
Yeah. Yeah, it feeds that. That's very great point because it feeds that also. Hey, the team that was dead in the water in May. Actually, it's similar. It's kind of both hockey teams. If going by what you're saying, it's like the St. Louis Blues this past season winning the Stanley Cup. They were dead in the water almost midway point of the season, and then they just got hot and went all the way to the Stanley Cup to win it all. And the Washington Capitals the season prior to that, because they were also a team that was like, okay, they should have won a championship eons ago. They've had all these great teams. They've had all the chances in the world. Their owner has spent the money. They have a superstar, and yet they just can't seem to get it right. And then they finally did it. So if the Nationals do it this season, it would be like a mix of those two storylines.
Yeah. And I would touch on one other thing, because this is how I feel about baseball, and part of it is because I contribute to the problem. When it comes to other sports, when there's teams who are heavy favorites to win, and if they win that final, whatever it is, whether it's a Super Bowl, a NBA championship, a college championship, whatever have you, and then a Stanley Cup, I don't think people get cynical off of it. I believe that in baseball, when the team that is projected to win, to be the best, wins that World Series, therein you lie to create the projection of cynicism, casual fan base not watch sport. Why? Because when the Yankees pot, it was always the Yankees, right? It was kind of in that way this season with the Red Sox, because the Red Sox are not a dynasty, but they have dynastic qualities. Astros championship and the other three that they own between. And the same thing goes to the Astros, because people are just going to see this. You're going to allow the same repeat guy in the finals. I think people have accepted with the Patriots is at the end of the day, let's be real about something. We might be sick of Tom Brady going into the Super Bowl, but Tom Brady in his 20-year career on a very excellent team that has never finished below 500 or hell, even under 10 games under his watch, except for like one season, the second season as a starter, they've only won 6 Super Bowls compared to the 20. There's still some parity. Even with the NBA, Golden State got to go to the finals. So presumed favorites, but there was always that competition to help. Because it was Cleveland winning, and then of course the asterisk says Toronto, and everybody says giving the asterisk. At the end of the day, it wasn't a fully great for them. Why loses MVP, but it was still him, against a battered everybody else in the curve. And then here comes my NHL knowledge. It was the Blackhawks and the Kings, right? Just kind of making their own kind of monstrosity.
Well, yeah, the Blackhawks won 3 championships in like 5-6 seasons, and in between that the Kings won 2. So it was either one or the other. So it was a good.
But they weren't even like the super overwhelming favorites.
And then the Penguins won back to back after that. The Blackhawks by the end of it they were, but in the NHL the thing is it's hard to do super overwhelming favorites because the game is a lot of it's based on luck. Just you just, or maybe a goalie just plays out of his mind. Parity in the NHL is very, very close. All the teams can kind of beat each other, except for the Ottawa Senators. They suck. But most given nights, teams are like within 1 or 2 points of each other in the standings, and not like the NBA, which is super top heavy. Major League Baseball, I think, has great parity, especially now. This season wasn't that bad. National League, maybe because most NL teams weren't that great. American League was more top heavy than anything, and of course the NFL has great parity as well, especially in the middle with all those middle teams down there. Where was I going with this? I'm not even sure anymore. Lost my train of thought.
Casual fans cannot deal with the expected teams to win the MLB.
Casual fans. Well, baseball's trying to hang on to all the fans that they can get, but they're still doing great. They're still making more money than they've ever made beforehand. So it's not like the sport is dying. It's just, but once again, they have 2 storylines that are great. two storylines that are, you have a dynasty, a possible team trying to make a dynasty, or you have the team that was dead in the water in May. And in DC, where, some good news out of DC would be great for a lot of people. So, all right, so that's our, I guess, World Series coverage,
Super in depth. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, all right. So I guess we can go to one of my smaller segments here. We can kind of use it to segue before we move on to another topic here. We're at the 40-minute mark. Let's which one of these can I pick? All right. I guess we'll go to Better Know a Minor League Team. So if y'all don't know, Better Know a Minor League Team, we pick a random minor league team from whichever league, whatever league, all the different minor sports out there, and at some point we're gonna have XFL teams. I think they didn't they just have their draft or whatever? I'm not even sure.
They did.
Oh,
they had their draft.
I am not ready to talk about that yet. We need to get the list of people and actually and start.
There's people I actually know there, Francisco.
Oh yeah, no. I heard about it on the radio today. People were like, "Oh, there's actually guys that I recognize," and whether people are gonna watch or not, whether you'll watch it for, just to laugh at it for a bit and then forget about it the next day, kind of like the AAF in a sense. But, are you convinced Vince is going to keep it more than a season?
I need it to last longer because wrestling has been very bad and, well, not bad. I think, I don't want to be over dramatic, but I always felt that Vince was his own worst enemy. And the idea of something succeeds, he can focus attention on it because it's a business, and he at least has trusted people in the WWE to make something happen. And look, there's a difference between having to create storylines and everything versus an actual sport. It's in its baby stage. I have to bring it back.
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. Hold on, guys. Okay, so I think I'm back. Hello, everybody. Hey there. All right. Technical difficulties once again. Hey, it's Sports Goofs, and it's just the way we do. So Charles, sorry about that. Your little mini rant there got cut off. But you need the XFL to keep going.
I need to succeed. And before everybody figured out, I gave this great diatribe of why, and Vince McMahon heard me criticize him, so he cut the power in Francisco's
I think he has the same technology as China, so...
Hey, listen, if you talk to former WWE wrestlers like John Moxley and Pac, you don't get free speech in Vince's world. You just get called stupid.
Okay.
So, yes, I needed to succeed because I think it will allow the creative juices to flow like a rare filet mignon in the wrestling world versus everything else.
We'll get to that at some point tonight because I'm pretty darn sure you have something saved up for you've been stewing for a bit. All right, so Better Know a Minor League Team. So in honor of the NBA season finally getting started for 2019 and 2020, my minor league team is the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. They are located in Edinburgh, Texas, which is in South Texas, around the border area. They were established in 2007 when the then D League started. They are the G League affiliate of the Houston Rockets. They are the most successful team in G League history. They have 3 championships: 2010, 2013, and they are the defending champion, 2019. I don't think they have a mascot because it is a snake, and I think that's very hard to do for a mascot. Even though the Diamondbacks have a mascot, but it's like a coyote or a badger or something like that. I forgot what it is.
Would it become a wingless dragon if you put limbs on it, even though everybody knows it's a snake?
I'm not sure. Put
it on the poll.
All right. Notable alumni from the Vipers: Patrick Beverly, Steve Novak, Clint Capella, and Nick Nurse. He was actually their head coach back in 2010 when they won the G League championship, and most recently the coach of the Toronto Raptors when they won in 2019, even though Charles still puts an asterisk by that.
Big asterisks.
They play at the Burt Ogden Arena out in Edinburgh. Opened in 2018, brand new shiny arena, and they brought a championship to it already. Capacity 7,688. I've been to South Texas. It's actually not that bad. Once again, me with some Texas love out there. I love El Paso, San Antonio. So, you know what? Maybe I should move there at some point. But I'm not going to at this point because they have Vipers out there, and I don't want to be out there. But that's it. Rio Grande Valley Vipers, everybody. So they will be starting their season soon enough out there in the G League. Cool?
You wish them luck.
Alrighty. Let's see. Smaller segments here. What else can we talk about between now and our halfway point here? We talked about baseball. I could talk about hockey and bore Charles to death. Well, let's see.
I mean, season 2 of Sports Goofs should also have a segment of Let's Educate Charles on hockey.
So well, I could educate you on hockey if you want me to.
Hey, listen, our fans are diverse. Our listeners are diverse. I don't hate hockey. I like hockey. The problem is the lack of broadcasting on my streaming sites hurt it a little bit. Plus, in choice between World Series baseball, NBA season, and then with some football in between, hockey's going to kind of fall a little bit on my total. So we could call this segment for future use, Let's Educate a Charles. Okay,
well, let's see. So I guess I could talk hockey for a real bit because the season has gone underway. I've been, of course, following my Florida Panthers, trying to get Charles to become a genuine fan at some point. Follow them casually, just be like, yeah, that Alexander Barkov, I hear he's pretty good. Surprisingly enough, the best team in the league are the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the drinking water changed out in Buffalo, but they have 2 good sports franchises. And, I don't know if it's a sign of the end times, but the Buffalo Sabres have been good. And, this happened last season. So, Charles, the Buffalo Sabres have been... they're like a snake bit type of team, I think I would liken them to be like the San Diego Padres of the NHL. All right?
Oh God.
Made a couple of finals appearances. Had some pretty damn good players. They had Dominic Hasek, probably one of the best goaltenders in the history of the league. Kind of akin to like a Tony Gwynn, one of the best hitters in the history of baseball. Just never had the opportunity to win it all. They've tanked very much so these past few seasons, maybe this past decade, I would say. They've had opportunities to be good, and it's like they have like a flash of brilliance, and it's just not good enough. And I don't know, maybe they're finally breaking through. Maybe they are. I think they had a 10-game winning streak last season around this time of the year, like heading into November, and it looked like, man, we're gonna bow down to our new Buffalo Sabres overlords, but that didn't exactly happen because they immediately went right back down to the basement. So this season seems different though, because their goals for, their goals against, they've shown maybe an air of sustainability. Like, this isn't just a flash in the pan, it's October. Much like in baseball, April baseball is basically like weird stuff happens, all right? In April baseball, weird stuff, like the Cincinnati Reds could be very good in April and they just kind of fall apart at the end, Here, it's the Buffalo Sabres, and I mean, they eventually have to break through, and it's kind of a bad news for the Florida Panthers, who are also trying to break through. But maybe they've added some pieces around Jack Eichel. Maybe they might have the formula to do this. It's an early season good start. Same thing out in Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers, who I guess you would akin to, not even sure. Well, you probably know who Wayne Gretzky is, of course.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so he had a dynasty with the Oilers. Well, he was traded to L.A. Eventually, but he started a dynasty in Edmonton out in the 80s, and the Oilers haven't done anything since. I guess you would call them, I don't know what you would say in other terms.
Damned fools?
No, I'm trying to a sports comparison to like a team that had like a dynasty, like really great dynasty way back in like forever ago, and now it's just kind of like a shell of themselves ever since.
The New York Yankees. No, that's too cold.
Come on, first world problems right there. A decade without a World Series.
1910. It was a tough time for
World Series appearance, not even just a championship, an appearance. It's like, oh.
San Francisco, I would venture, is probably the closest.
Okay, I would say the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls. Let's say the Chicago Bulls.
Chicago's fun.
All right, Chicago Bulls, dynasty in the 90s. Michael Jordan, I guess you would say is like the Wayne Gretzky of basketball. And nothing ever since, all right? They made a finals appearance back in 2006, and that was a surprise by everybody, and it's just awful ever since. Bulls, the same thing, they've been awful. They had that Derrick Rose, whatever, but anyways, they've had a good start to the season and are leading the Pacific Division. Some good hockey going on right now. It's just kind of have when it comes to hockey, because of the point system. So I don't know if you know how the point system is distributed. All right.
A little bit. I never.
All right.
One team with X amount beats out another team because ESPN always has it where it's wins, losses, shootouts, and then points. I'm like, this is too much. I'm not a smart man.
Okay, so I can break it down for you. Okay, a victory, a win, a regulation or overtime victory or a shootout victory of any kind is 2 points. All right, That's 2 points in the books. Losses, 0 points. You get no points for losses in regulation. If you get into overtime or lose in a shootout, you get 1 point. All right. So you get into overtime, you're guaranteed to get a point out of the game. The NHL did away with ties back in 2006. So that was actually one of the big changes after they had a canceled season. And when it comes to playoff standings, they have a thing called, and I have to explain this to you as well, they have a thing called ROW. Okay, it's ROW, regulation and overtime wins. But it's actually the name doesn't make sense anymore because a regulation victory counts more than an overtime victory. All right, so if you can beat a team in 60 minutes of play time, that victory actually counts more than beating a team in overtime or a shootout. All right. Okay. So when it comes into play when you have a tiebreaker scenario. So unlike baseball, you don't have play-in games. NHL, you come towards the end of the season, and they calculate how many points you have. If you have the same amount of points as another team for that final spot, they will start counting the rows, or really just the regulation victories. So you have one more regulation victory than the other team, you get that spot ahead of them. All right? And that's how the Panthers got screwed with that a few seasons ago. Actually, 10 seasons ago now, when they didn't have this rule implemented with the regulation victories. And they're the reason why we have this system. So that's how the NHL calculates its standings. There's no more ties anymore because that's for Europeans, and we don't like that.
So let me ask you this, Francisco, because I typed it out, but I don't want to lose sight of it. The importance of power plays, does that work in the standings, or power plays?
Okay.
Power play points.
Okay, so power play. All right, so power plays are when the other team has a man advantage because of a penalty. All right, so you lose one, maybe even two players, and so power play points. It has nothing to do with the standings. Let's say you get in a scenario where you have the team has the same amount of points in the standings and the same amount of regulation victories. All right, so that's when you start going into the goal deficit. All right, so much like in NBA or the NFL, plus or minus points. All right, so if your team scored more goals and has less of a deficit than the team behind you, then you get that spot in the playoffs. So goals do matter, and goals against, goals for do matter when it comes to that part of the standings. If you get that deep into into the tiebreak. Victories being more valuable than overtime victories or shootout victories. So it actually has not come up, and I think going deeper. I mean, they have even more scenarios here after that if you get into some really weird stuff. But with regards to you tying the other team in every single statistical category, but it's never come up really in hockey. And there's never been there hasn't been a playing game or anything like that. So that's how you calculate standings in hockey. So that's yeah, I actually kind of like this segment.
I like it too because, like I said, and we talked about it personally, and to everybody else out there, is that one, if I am going to be a commentator on the most prestigious podcast of sports and sports entertainment like out there in this world of video game entertainment, I feel that I am obligated to understand every facet of the game, including hockey.
And honestly, I actually commend you for that because I don't think a lot of sports media personalities, and whether it's in radio or in TV or even online, make the effort to be well versed in all the sports.
And that's why, my good man, they are gotta leave goons and not sports goofs.
Well, we'll get to that segment after the midway point. But yeah, I mean, I find it, especially, I mean, I listen to South Florida radio down here. They're mostly talking football, all right? I mean, high school football, college, and the NFL, and I don't know how they could speak so much about the Dolphins, but they do. All right, the team sucks, and I don't know how much you can kind of break that down at this point. The Hurricane, the U is dead. If you all didn't know,
so dead.
The U is dead. It's been
Can't
dead
be brought
for
back.
it's been dead since the early 2000s. And
Hey, you brujos and brujerias
All
out
right.
there in South Florida, bring us back.
yeah, well, I mean, you guys just don't have any of that Ponzi scheme money anymore. That's
Dang it. Can't believe it.
anyways, I find it, the guys that the media personalities. I'll give you an example. Ira Winderman. He is the Miami Heat beat writer for the Sun Sentinel. That man is well versed in all four of the major sports. All right, he knows his hockey. He grew up in New York. So he's from New York. So he knows baseball, obviously, football, basketball, and hockey. All right, he's a New York Rangers fan, and you talk to him about anything. He's talking about the Heat. You bring up something about the New York Giants, and he'll start talking about it. All right. I like guys like that. I like guys who are well versed. There's a guy, Alex Dono, who used to be a radio host on 560 WQAM. He's a fan of all four sports. He knows his hockey, especially down here. If a guy knows his hockey, he knows his hockey. All right. He knows soccer. I'm not a soccer fan, but he loves socker. He's into Italian soccer. I respect guys who take the time to be well versed in all the sports like that. Roy Bellamy, I think he's on. He's one of the local boys for.
Levitard, right?
Yeah, Levitard, right there. Yeah. He's actually a hockey fan. He's a hockey fan, all right. And so he you'll see him tweet every once in a while about the Florida Panthers and stuff like that. So. Guys like that, I think, are great for sports down here. All right, like maybe I think it's just my generation down here. I mean, it's just I haven't grown up with a good football team in the Dolphins. I just haven't. So it's kind of been my fourth favorite sport, really. I mean, the Florida State Seminoles can only do so much for me, but I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I think it depends. It's like being a chef in that sense. Some people can specialize in breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Sometimes you can commingle, but there's always going to be a recipe that you're not familiar with or you're just not good at. And also, here's the thing. If you enjoy, there's a difference between enjoying one thing and then being educated and trying to influence other people. And I think that's the pitfalls of any kind of sports media, sports talk, sports figurehead, sports goofs, where you limit yourself. Skip Bayless has not played any professional sports.
Nope.
I have not played any professional sports. Colin Cowherd has not played any professional sports. Let me be fair to some other people. Stephen A. Smith has not played any professional sports, and even the professional athletes who have played professional sports have not played the professional sport of the other things that they're talking about per se. So, Shannon Sharp talk about basketball. So a lot of it is a reactive sensation of, oh, he sucks. But then you find out things are different. It's almost like on replay when you think he has the catch and then you find out his foot out of bounds, right? You see with the eye, and this is the truth, and I'll say it for me, a lot of times our determinations might be from, especially if we're undereducated in the matter, might be from what other people who we believe are more informed on tell us. Because I'll take your head and nod. Like, I know the Buffalo Sabres. I think they're owned by the people who own the Buffalo Bills. I know they sucked for a couple of years.
Yeah, same owner.
I'm gonna appreciate you and say, hey, that is what you're gonna respect it, or you're gonna be the worst kind of sports media figurehead and just be talking out of your butt and not making a lot of sense and just trying to say things that have a shock element because you'll bring in irrelevant subjects to the market and to the sport itself, which happens often.
Exactly. I mean, I don't like it when people who have no idea on the subject are commenting on it. Like, I remember the Chicago Blackhawks had back in 2000, I think it was the strike shortened season back in 2013, they had like a 25-game point streak. They were almost, it wasn't that they were undefeated, but they had a point streak. So they got points in every game, as I explained to you just recently. How it works. And they were trying to compare that to, I think the Miami Heat had their 20, remember they won 27 games in a row or something like that?
They were trying to break, I think, the Houston Rockets' consecutive winning streak.
Right, exactly. So they were in the middle of that, and they asked Stephen A. Smith if the Blackhawks streak was comparable or as good or as impressive as the Heat streak, and he started going off and he's like, no, it ain't the same as the Heat streak. And, well, he didn't say that, but he's like, hockey has ties, all right? That doesn't count. And it's like, no, Stephen A. Hockey hasn't had ties since 2004, all right? That was the last season that they implemented ties. Ever since that, there have been actual finality to all the games. Now, if he had said hockey has shootout losses and they have a point system that guarantees that if you make it into overtime that you get a point even if you lose, then I would have respected his argument. I would have been like, you are well informed, good sir. All right, you have made great points there. But
here's a good question I'm going to ask you after. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. No, that's the end of my point there.
Do you think they even write their own notes, or there's people writing pregame?
Oh, I don't think Stephen A. writes his own notes at this point, man. That guy is way too big. He's a meme at this point. Nah. He might write some of his stuff. He might have some he might just sit in the back and be like, I like that. I'm gonna scream about that today. When put it on a poster board for him. He's like, pick. What do you want to scream about today? I'll scream about that today, all right? Yeah, okay, but we are at the halfway point of our show, if you're watching this and you were after our interruption. But either way, we get to one of our favorite segments, a word from a non-sponsors, guys. It's been a while. Since we shout out to the people, products, places, things that we know and love for the past, I would say, 3 weeks that we haven't been on the show. So, Charles, I don't know if you're ready for this.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, all right. So, I don't know. You want me to start? You want to go? I'm not even sure.
If you feel you need a moment, I can start.
Yeah, give me a second. Give me a second there. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let me just clap my hands together. So, ladies and gentlemen, viewers of all ages, listeners of all ages, every now and then when we do a word from our non-sponsors, we have known me to pick either some form of entertainment or some form of food commodity. We have had famous things brought up here. We even had hungry hobbies for all its sakes. But today I'm thinking of my stomach. I always think of my stomach because I'm a grown man, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a big boy trying to get big boy foods. But sometimes, if you're like me, if I'm cooking for my own food, or if I get some takeout or whatever, and it's just not good enough, maybe I need to spice it up. And let me tell you something, guys. What's better than something being good? Having something to complement it and make it even better. I love me some hot sauce. And so I think and my sister for getting this kind of hot sauce because I rarely kind of order hot sauce online. I just kind of get the basic style because I'm a basic bee, as they say. But there is a certain kind of hot sauce that has just not only opened my pores when it touches, my tongue and open up my papulas and open up my nostrils. It's also opened up my soul that says, I don't think I can ever be gone with it. And it is St. Augustine snakebite hot sauce. You can order online for Amazon for $15. And I gotta say, the other day, I had some Chinese food. Love Chinese food. I usually don't mix anything with Chinese food. The problem with Chinese food sometimes is when you staple the styrofoam, the general topping gets a little too soggy for my liking. The one on the left, Francisco, is beautiful. It gets a little bit too soggy, and the food's kind of ruined. Well, a little bit of old Augustine snakebite, that little hot sauce that you get for $14.99 free shipping on Amazon, made it a whole lot better. Last night, had a little bit of pot roast for dinner. Yum yum sauce, baby, but not the yum yum sauce as you used to. We're talking about old St. Augustine snakebite hot sauce. Just open up some. It's like basically, I used to say this, I'm gonna say it again. It's like kissing Jesus, but in a condiment version. Because sometimes, guys, you gotta think for your stomach. But if you're not a good cook like me, and you gotta get a little bit of intense and extra, you like a little bit of hot. It's hot, but not too hot. It's appreciative hot, you guys. You appreciate the hot. You appreciate the sauce. My non-sponsor of the week, Old St. Augustine snakebite hot sauce. Go get some.
All right, I have it here on the screen here. $14.90 here on Amazon. Free shipping. Rare and elusive daytail pepper only grows in the nation's oldest city, St. Augustine, Florida. It's a good city, by the way. It has a slight fruitiness with latent heat that kicks. Old St. Augustine, a small family business, created snakebite hot sauce to show off the true flavor of this illustrious ingredient. Pronounced daddle like paddle. Okay. Try it on chicken wings, seafood, Bloody Marys, and more. Dice up fresh watermelon with onion and cilantro. Add snakebite and eat with tortilla chips. Heat level is hot, and they got one customer review, so let's go down there and see if anybody... nobody wrote the customer review. Nobody... So good. Great gifts for our guys. Okay, great gift for guys. Okay, cool. So, yeah. I'm not a hot sauce type of guy, to be honest. But have you ever seen the YouTube show Hot Ones?
Oh my god, it's great.
Okay, all right,
Hysterical.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's fantastic. You get celebrities on there, and I like that they pull from all walks of life. They don't just get all the stuffy LA celebrities like actors and singers. They they get some athletes on there. They get comedians especially. I love that they get comedians. I love comedians on there. They got.
Did you see the Idris Elba and how they were able to make that in the movie?
No, I have not. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to see that. But I saw I especially like the Shaquille O'Neal one. I like the Gordon Ramsay one. That was a good one. I have to watch the one with Bill Burr. I love Bill Burr. Great comedian. I don't know if anybody's seen him. Go watch him on Netflix and stuff. I mean, he is not my non-sponsor yet, but he's got his own podcast, Monday Morning Podcast. Everybody, I'm promoting another podcast, my podcast, hoping the love will come back from Bill Burr, please. Anyways, he's been on the Colin Cowherd show on Fox Sports 1.
So good. He calls him out all the time.
Oh no, he is great. He eviscerates him. I mean, gosh, man, you kind of wish he was on the show all the time just to call him out for everything. Anyways, so yeah, my non-sponsor, I guess, gosh, man. You know what? My non-sponsor is the movie Office Space. All right. So, bit of news, everybody. I'm quitting my job. Now, I am very much happy with my decision here. I'm I'm fed up, I guess, with where I'm at. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. And so I finally made the call this month to be like, you know what? It's time for me to move on. You know, I put in my time. I got experience. I did things I never thought I would. And it's time to move on, all right? And I'll talk about the good times and stuff later on my own, when I'm playing Kirby or something on my other my own personal YouTube channel. But I had to get myself in the mindset of quitting a job, in the mindset of not caring about a place that I'm no longer going to be at. So I decided to watch an oldie, but a goodie at this point. And I can't believe a 20-year-old movie is down oldie for me. I'm talking about the movie Office Space, made in 1999, written and created by a Senor Mike Judge. If y'all don't know who he is, he created Beavis and Butthead. He also created King of the Hill. One of my favorite.
Damn it, Bobby.
Oh yeah, damn it, Bobby. That boy ain't right. I'll tell you what. Propane and propane accessories. So, Office Space. Oh gosh, stars Ron Livingston, Jennifer Aniston, in David Herman. I mean, just
Greg Cole, or what's his name? The boss.
oh yes. Well, we're gonna go down. We'll scroll on down. Don't worry. I have it here on the screen here. Hopefully,
I get excited because he's also Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, so I feel it's very relevant.
All right, yeah, Gary Cole.
Gary Cole.
Yeah, Gary Cole. All right, Diedrich Bader is in the movie. So it just a great, concise movie. Look, not all of us work in places that we like. Sometimes we work in places that we like at some point, and then we just kind of fall out of like for it, like I have for my job. You know, or sometimes you've just been in a job that you've hated for the entire time. You just realize, you just sit there, you finally get a revelation. You get a revelation like, why am I still here? Why am I busting my ass? Why am I killing myself? Why am I not getting sleep or whatever? Why am I not just happy with my job? All right. You know what? It's time for a change, you know? And whatever, you know, just something clicks in your head, or maybe you're at a therapist or trying to get hypnosis, and the guy has a heart attack on you, and yet you enter a peace of mind at that moment, and you realize, you know, all your problems just melt away right there, even though the guy's having a heart attack right in front of you. Yeah, your girlfriend has been cheating on you. Who cares? All right, you can get another one. All right, and then you walk into work in a Hawaiian shirt, not giving a care in the world, 3 hours late, didn't come in on a Saturday, you know? And you just happen to get a promotion for some reason after that. But you just
really dark there.
Yeah, but you realize you don't have to be that way. And this movie is so hilarious. It touches upon, you know, just sitting at a desk and just mindless work and stuff like that. I got into the space, man. I got into the Office Space. I just realized, like, I will do my work until I finish next week. I will do it to the best of my ability, but that emotional connection, that stress, that worry, it's gone now, man. And this movie perfectly encapsulates that feeling. All right. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to go out there and quit their jobs because, you know, you got to plan out and stuff like that. But this movie is hilarious, and it's still relevant to this day. I mean, it's not like, you know, there's not like anything like, oh, flip phone, haha, that's funny nowadays. No, it's not that. It's not that, you know. They have printers and stuff, you know. It's still relatable. Go watch it, guys. I'm not going to put the trailer on screen, but woo!
What's your promo code?
Yeah.
I forgot mine, so what's yours?
Promo code. Oh, gosh, I got to think of a line from the movie. Think of yours while I'm doing mine, but promo code. TPS reports.
My promo code, snakebitten.
All right. Hey, that's a good one. I like that. All right.
Thank you.
All righty then. Yeah. And don't worry. Oh, I should have said Pieces of Flair. That was a good one too. Oh, well. All right. Second half of the show, we're going to do the rundown of the games going on right now. Nationals are up 2-0. Look at that. Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander is on the mound. It's only the first inning, guys.
So what kind of juice are those balls having? Orange juice? Does it look like they're full of
I am watching the game right now as Drupal Cabrera is up. There's a guy on second base. I'm not sure who's on second right now. I think it might be Rendon. I'm not even sure. But, let's see. And NHL action, the Ottawa Senators are actually winning. That's odd. Pens and Lightning are scoreless, starting their game just now on NBC Sports. It's a national game, so good on them. And NBA action right now. Boston and Philly, good game. 17-14 right now. We've got a lot of other games on tap. DC versus Dallas, New York versus San Antonio, OKC and Utah. Let's see right here. Bulls and Hornets are at the half. 63-53, Hornets on top. The Pistons and the Pacers, I think they're finishing up and going into halftime. 54-55, pretty good game to start out the season. The I almost said the Indians, but the Cavaliers and the Magic, 55-37 Magic right now. The Wolves and the new look Brooklyn Nets losing 25-20 in the first quarter. And the new look, well, I don't know if you would say new look, but it's 2020 right now between the Heat and the Memphis Grizzlies, 3-16 in the first quarter. Whew. So, let's see. So we talked about baseball. I guess we can talk about basketball, guy. I mean, we are on basketball right now. So
basketball guys.
Okay. Okay, so we had the opening of the season last night. I'm going to go on the search screen right now while I look up the Toronto Raptors banner and their ring. Charles, I didn't get to see the game. The Pelicans put up a fight.
Yes, and it was kind of expected. This is a new look Pelicans.
It's basically the Lakers cast-offs.
Yeah, it's the Lakers cast-offs trying to show that they're a cohesive team on Malcolm Gentry versus you're not good enough for me, Kawhi Leonard-less Raptors, with Pascal Siakam just kind of showing you that he's a grown man now, basically. I thought it was a good game.
He had what, 34 points?
34 points.
Him and Van Vliet both had 34. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know who didn't do good? Kyrie, or not Kyrie, but Kyle Lowry. Not for a spoiler for anybody there, but back to Pascal, because I got to be on the now. 34 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists. You know, he was kind of putting in work. He was accurate from the line when he would hit to the foul line, and 11 and 26 isn't bad for somebody who about 6 months ago was the third option. Hell, I would even say the fourth option coming into the playoffs in general, because that line of that arsenal for Toronto was expected to be Kawhi, Kyle, and then Marc Gasol with a little bit of Serge Ibaka to lead the way, and then it became his team. It's what happens, man. Not an opportunity and responsibility knock on your door, Francisco. You have no choice but to answer it. Marc Gasol is kind of like transitioning into that I'm just an old man defender who's not going to allow points, but be a defensive force. Kyle Lowry was atrocious. He had 22 points. But here's the thing about basketball, you guys. If you focus too much on the points you score and you forget the fact that the guy went 4 of 15 in the field goal and 3-11 at the 3-point line, you don't understand that he's garbage.
Yeah.
For Van Vliet, doing good. I actually assume that he's going to take that starting guard spot at some point. I think he's actually the shooting guard. So he was playing a little bit between the sixth man, but like they had, since everybody kind of left, they did some other stuff. Maybe him and Lowry are going to go 1-2 for a while.
Yeah.
And on the Pelican side, a.k.a. the New Orleans Lakers, everybody kind of Zion's out. We got questions about that.
6 to 8 weeks, yep.
We'll comment on that in a second after this briefing. But everybody else at the cast-offs did what they could. They were in the game for the most of the time. That's how you get to OT, folks. You know, both teams kind of doing it. J.J. Redick doing the Great White Hope kind of thing of just shooting threes like a beast. Brandon Ingram just trying to be the second, leader on that team, and if anything, the de facto leader, I would say, just because Zion is the high-prized, toy, the high shiny toy.
Right.
He's still a rookie. Brandon Ingram was playing pretty good for the Lakers.
I like Ingram as kind of the gritty. I mean, I don't know, the soul of the team, I would say. While we see whether we haven't seen Zion. We have not seen him. All right, he's just. We'll get to him in a second. So
we can say Ingram's a proven commodity, though. 4 years into the league.
Yeah. He's played minutes. All right. He's put in his time. All right. I think he's established at this point. 4 years. That's a veteran. That's a veteran right there.
Well, that's a veteran. What's ironic though, because I just caught this out. Last year they had Julius Randle, who was former Laker, and then he left to New York. Now they have 3 other former Lakers.
Yeah,
Magic doesn't know how to handle his team.
Gosh.
Other comment they kind of hit on it. It's just too easy now, and I really kind of feel like I'm kicking this person because it's something I've been saying for the last couple of years. I feel like Ralph, not Ralph, but the Simpsons gif. We're stopping. He's already dead, but Lonzo Ball. Not really impressing. This could have been a new look thing. Alvin Gentry, this is the coach who was loving Phoenix when he was there for a bit, and then also Steve Kerr's assistant. But 25 minutes, 2 or 7, okay, fine. He's not a shooter. 2 or 3 or 3 points, but
I think
only 8 points.
I think I would say, I don't know. People are expecting Lonzo. He's not. He might just have to be a traditional point guard in the old sense. Just move the ball, find guys, and create things like that.
Does him and Drew Holiday even work though as a tandem?
Maybe not. They're probably gonna have to make some decisions regarding that at this point. Especially, I mean, you can move him. You can just move him. You just be like, "Yep, he's a bust." All right, it's over.
Yeah.
All right, so I got on screen here. We've got the Toronto Raptors ring design. Actually,
Ooh, sexy.
it's unique. They've got the North chevron. We the North. That's their mantra. You've got the I guess that's an NBA trophy smack dab in the middle. You've got the Toronto skyline. I've never seen that before. I've never seen this, like the city represented by like a skyline or any sort of thing like that.
Ring in sports
Yeah,
history, apparently.
exactly. Yeah. So they put in all those funny looking Canadian dollars into this ring here, and I don't know if I can't tell the design on the bottom. I think that's their arena. I think they kind of mixed the arena with the NBA trophy there to kind of make the
Pride?
give the silhouettes of the it's the Scotiabank Arena. It's not the Air Canada Center anymore. Yeah, so that's their ring design. Then we've got their other stuff here. Chris Creamer he's in Toronto, so he's got all the merch and stuff out there. Their NBA championship hats and stuff. We've got they've got a gold logo for this season because to celebrate their championship. They've got these they had these shirts here displaying the original Raptors logo with an NBA trophy in its hand there. I like that.
Let's talk about that real quickly. Aren't you disappointed that they didn't find a way to put that kind of design on a ring?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping like to see a raptor, like an actual dinosaur on there, because I love dinosaurs. But whatever, they'll use it in their marketing anyways, at the very least. And then you've got their championship banner, which, simple. Toronto Raptors. It's a nice shiny gold film that they got there. They actually said world champions in this. All right, not NBA champions. Which a lot of teams have been using lately. A lot of teams don't use the world champion moniker anymore. Like even in baseball, they say World Series champions. They don't say world champions. And the NHL, it's Stanley Cup champions. And I think maybe in football and the NFL, they still use world champions because really it's the only sport that's playing that. So. I like it. I like that they use world champions. Some people have something against it. Oh, it's not the world champion. They didn't face any other team. I'm like, really? I actually made a comment to somebody on that on the Sports Goofs Twitter account. Like I put world champions in quotation marks with like the eye roll emoji, and I just put, I doubt Panathinaikos OPAP of Greece, of the Greek basketball league, would have beaten the Raptors in a 7-game series.
That, and to further that point into that argument is that until like America does a lot more in the Olympics and other kind of world sports, let's have our cake and eat it too.
All right, exactly. Or let Canada have its cake. All right, this is Canada. They're saying we are the world champions. All right, we're the Canadian team and we have the championship. All right, let them have it. Let them have it.
Everybody knows where you're coming from. It's synonymous. You understand when they say world champions in baseball, you're really just meaning the MLB. When you're saying basketball champions, you don't mean the NBA. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to get another team unless you start. Only soccer has like that. They have like a Champions League and stuff. Only soccer can actually have that type of claim if you have a Champions League series between champions of different leagues facing each other. All right, but you're not going to get that in the NBA. You're just not. You're not going to get that in basketball. You're not even going to get that in hockey, and it could happen in hockey, really. But even then. I mean, maybe a series against a KHL team might be intriguing enough, but I would pick the Stanley Cup champion over them anyways because their players in Russia are coming here to play, So all the best players from the world are coming over here for basketball, baseball, and hockey, the international sports, you would say. Not, NFL is different. To come play here. So yeah, world champions, go ahead, use the moniker. You know. All right, so that's the Raptors championship banners. All right, more on this New Orleans Pelicans thing. All right, so Zion, he's out. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Now everybody's coming up with the questions as to, is he too big for his own good? You know, is he going to be another big man? Is he going to be Greg Oden 2.0? All right, everybody fears that. You don't want that to happen. All right, the Blazers have already been burned by high draft picks like that. The Pelicans don't want to do the same. All right. Charles Barkley made the point. He said that he was like 300 pounds or something coming out of Auburn when he was playing, and then he had to actually lose weight in order to play in the NBA. And he was a rebound machine at Auburn, anyways. That he might just have to lose weight. It's not a knock against Zion, because Zion's not fat. All right, let's press. Yeah, I forgot what his weigh in and height for the NBA officially is right now.
I'll check as you're doing that.
Yeah, we can check. But Zion Williamson is definitely not out of shape. I don't think anybody's claiming that. All right, the guy is just a massive dude. He is a massive dude that is that's carrying a lot of weight on that body, and much like
6'7" to 84.
Okay, 6'7" to 84. All right, that is a very large man, and much like giant anime mech vehicles, all right, they have weak knees. All right, basketball players have weak knees. All right, you go for the knees if you're fighting a giant anime mech. You go for the knees. That's their weak point. Same thing for NBA players. So in order to alleviate that, I think Zion, could keep the muscle. He can have his muscle, right? But he stand to be a little leaner, just to be able to. It might quicken him up, and just find some durability, dude. All right.
I mean, you think about it. LeBron was kind of a beefy boy for a while. I mean, he was skinny, but when he got into his man body, he changed. He changed his diet. That's why he's healthier now.
But I've never seen LeBron isn't as bulky as Zion. I would say. I don't know.
Would you say the next best comparable thing that isn't Chuck to me is Shaq? Is Shaq?
Well, Shaq when he came out of college was pretty thin. All right. I mean, not thin like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar thing, but yeah, I guess Shaq would be the best comparable player in that sense. Of course, Shaq is just, I don't know. Shaq is a very hard player to compare to because he's kind of a one of a kind thing. The NBA had never seen a player like that before.
He's also very upper body.
I'd never seen one since. So
Howard maybe.
I think if Zion Williamson could have like a Dwight Howard type of conditioning, he will last in the league because Dwight Howard has lasted in the league. All right.
I mean, because I'm looking at Zion now more so than I ever want to look at his own photos, but
yeah, man.
Like big dude, but he's like there's a picture that I'm looking at right now where he's wearing like a typical white tee. A-cut shirt, and I'm like, this guy could probably be like an honest wrestler at Greek Olympians, man. So Greek Olympics. So I don't know sometimes what they mean by he's heavy versus he's fat. So I don't know. Like it's the style of play when you think about it. And I think that's what we're all kind of joking around on. At the food capital of South.
I accidentally clicked on it. I thought it was like a legitimate photo of him. I'm like, no.
No, that's perfect.
Oh my god.
That's not he's a fast break, slam it down kind of guy, and no matter what you weigh, it's gonna have guys. I run like 4 miles at the treadmill when I'm at the gym because I got into wedding shape, and my knee wants to pop out, and I'm not that heavy. Wear and tear happens to all people at all times. And
maybe. Yeah. So maybe I'd just be that. Maybe it's his style of play. Maybe it's a little too extreme. I don't know. Maybe you can hold. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to reel those guys back. It really is. But sorry. I mean,
we're good.
Like Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade.
Bergman just scored a 2-hit run, by the way, so it's 2-2 now.
Yeah, I'm seeing the bottom of the screen right now. Okay, so like Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade used to be run and gun, flash, just hit the. I mean, he would. I'm surprised he hasn't had concussions and stuff like that. I mean, he used to fall down on the floor so hard, like he was just doing all these acrobatics and stuff like that. But he had to change his game. He had to just to stay in the league.
Those ankles and knees, man. He
Exactly.
doesn't have an ACL at one of his knees, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
because he's a real man, folks.
So I don't know. Once again, we haven't seen maybe this. I don't know, maybe it's like Tommy John surgery, just precautionary. It'll just happen.
Well,
you know.
Let's talk about the hypocrisy of Beth. We're gonna poo on Zion Williams because he was a generational first pick in the draft for getting injured. When we have Blake Griffin, who broke his damn foot in the preseason, didn't play at all. He had an okay career.
I mean,
a little on the tooth now.
I'm not pooing on him. I just think I think well, some people are pooing on him. I kind of come from the Charles Barkley sense where it's like, we really want to see you play. Like, he's a good guy. Like, he's like genuinely a good human being. It doesn't seem like he has that prima donna type of attitude as the first round pick in the NBA. So it'd be really nice to see him. I guess he would ache it to him like when Dwayne Wade came in. Dwayne Wade wasn't a prima donna or anything like that, and I kind of see Zion in the same humility type of sense. I think people just want to see him succeed, and hopefully he doesn't get injured. We don't want to see him be Greg Oden. That's just the big thing. I don't want to see him be Greg Oden.
Nope. We just want him to succeed. And I think that's also how we feel about a lot of these young cats coming in. Is that, listen, the hype, no matter what you think, whether it was wanted, at some point the hype was earned.
Yeah.
Because you earned it in that sense. It's one year you have a lot of NBA players who are like top picks in the draft who don't make it to their first year. Not just Blake Griffin, but let's talk about Joel Embiid. Let's talk about Ben Simmons. A few others. Granted, they didn't all go one. Joel was number 3, but the point that I'm making, these phenomenal players got a little bit involved later. Zion's going 6 to 8 weeks too. It's not like his season is done. They'll come back slow. 2
Yeah,
months into it. He'll be back when NBA really matters, and that's like December or early January. So the fan, perfect for Charles.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it sucks for the Pelicans. I'm sure they had a lot of tickets, people lining up to go, but whatever. All right, so let's move on from the first game of yesterday. So when we had the second game, I saw the second game. I saw pretty much the entirety of the second game. The Lakers and the Clippers. That Clippers bench, man, that is good bench. They have a great bench. Oh, yeah. Ooh, those guys coming off that bench. Wow.
And that's what Paul George playing today, too.
Yeah.
Playing yesterday.
Yeah, so, Paul George is not playing yet. And Kawhi, in the face of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, Kawhi made a statement last night, all right? Aside from the fact that he is a Terminator, and that was a great trailer or collab that they did. Aside from that, and man, those guys make Arnold Schwarzenegger look short.
My God, he looks like a midget.
And he's like 6'2". Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a small guy, and he's like 70 years old now, but still. Anyways, he had a statement game like LeBron, AD. This is all right. So 70% of the arena is against us. All right, that was a Lakers home game. Okay, that was a Lakers home game. There were more Lakers fans there than there were Clippers fans. And yeah, he's like, so what? You got more fans than us. So I'm gonna make the Clippers your worst nightmare. I got a better bench. I got a better coach. All right, and I'm a better player than you guys right now. Both of you combined, I can beat you. I don't even need Paul George tonight. I'll take care of you myself. I already took down the Warriors. I already took you down, LeBron, a few years ago. All right, I'm a Terminator. I'm a mercenary. All right, I'm an NBA mercenary. I don't care. I go to the highest bidder. All right, and I will take you out. I take down dynasties. I take down potential dynasties. I am Kawhi Leonard. I am the best player in the game, and he did it. That man did it. All right, and And the Clippers did it, man. I there was a stretch in the game around the third quarter. I was gonna say period. I've got the NHL in my mind still. Third quarter when LeBron sat out and the Lakers with Anthony Davis on the floor made a very very good run to actually tie the game. And I think they might have taken the lead for a bit. And it looked like the Clippers were going to unravel, but then, they reeled it back in. Kawhi reeled them back in, and even with LeBron and Anthony Davis on the floor, they were able to extend that lead. LeBron made a lot of mistakes that last quarter of the game. I think he might have been pushing a little too much to make things happen because, LeBron's very good. He has a great eye for the court, finds guys when you wouldn't think he would find them. He's great passing the ball. So he might have tried to make things happen a little too much there, but he still had a great game. Anthony Davis actually had a pretty good debut as a Laker, but it's clear that the Lakers don't have as deep of a team. They are top heavy. I think they're top heavy. I think they just have AD and LeBron, and they thought the rest will sort itself out. But not in the Western Conference. Not with the Clippers, who made the playoffs last season with very much that same team except a superstar, added two superstars, and have a better coach, and an owner who is willing, who doesn't have all the drama that the Lakers ownership has, surprisingly. So, the Clippers made a big statement like, hey, this is a Lakers town, but we're the LA team of this season right now. So good on them. Now, I don't know if they. All right. So who would you say is the West favorite? Do you think the Warriors or do you think it's the Clippers? I can't say the Clippers yet. I can't say the Clippers yet because we haven't seen them with Paul George. We haven't seen that dynamic yet. And I don't know. Do you think it's Houston?
Well, here's the thing people need to realize. That Clippers team is not built to beat you by scoring. It's built to beat you by just destroying defensively with Kawhi, Paul George, and Patrick Beverly. Mm-hmm. And they're hoping on Sweet Lou to be a nice little smooth man to help them.
Oh, he was Sweet Lou last night. That was for sure.
He was good. He was muy bueno. So there's 2-3 teams I can see coming into the top of it. One being Denver, and the reason why is because they didn't lose anybody. So by
that's true.
Concepts of carryover, you didn't lose anybody, and Jokic should be still kind of in his element.
And they already made the playoffs. They might have, all right. We know we made some mistakes at the end. They got the experience at the very least.
Yeah, so that's one of them. I would say the top class. The reason why I would venture Houston is because they've lost some depth. They don't have a lot of depth in there. There's no geography, but Petty Russ is still something that I think can will himself to doing something great with Harden. I mean, it's probably gonna be a pseudo disaster for a bit. I mean, look, there's two things that can happen in Houston. Either it all works or it doesn't work and Mike D'Antoni's fired mid-season. There is really no in or out at this point. I feel you're too in deep, man. You've been dating for 6 years. If you don't propose, you gotta leave. That's how it feels here. Golden State. Listen, you already know my feelings. I personally think just tank. It's okay. Clay will be back next year. The NBA awards tanking. So, a lot of the players get a good year off rest from having being fouls all the time. You get an excellent pick, and you make something happen. But they won't because not cowards like me or not great teachers like me. But they'll work there. The other team, and it's because I want to believe in them, because I like their coach. I like who they traded for. The other team who I think can come out as class of the West is Utah. Who traded for Mike Conley, who have now a legitimate, a real freaking point guard. You guys, they got something going on there. You don't have to rely on the Dante Exums of the world or the Ricky Rubio for just cup of coffee. Guys, you can't score. You have a dependable leader, a guy who was a little bit injured, but now he doesn't have to carry the load because guys, he was carrying that load pretty heavy and pretty hard in Memphis.
Yeah,
especially in that final year. But you look at who they built up. They have Mike Conley's there. Rudy Gobert cannot cry, hopefully, this season about not coming in. But hey,
Whatever.
we'll see. We'll see. Donovan Mitchell
Of course.
gets load eased up on him. Apparently, they got Emmanuel Mudiay, not a big name, but it's depth. So it's something that you could work into it. I'm just going to see other stuff. Jeff Green, who is Mr. Journeyman, Mr. Scorer, not going to scare people, but having a second unit in the West on your bench is just as important to having great starters. If you can have above average bench, you have a great chance of making it.
Exactly why I think the Clippers are, at the very least, ahead of the Lakers.
Yeah. Oh, they're way. I would say they're ahead on that one for sure.
Yeah. So even though the Lakers, once again, the Lakers without LeBron, I guess with that, with just Anthony Davis on the floor and whatever guys were with him at that point, made a pretty good run of it in that third quarter. But it might have just been the Clippers kind of a little gassed. It's the first game of the season, a lot of emotions, a lot of high energy. It might have been some jitters at the end, but then they reeled it back in. All right. Okay, so actually, let me look down at the scores again. We got halftime here. Once again, Minnesota up 68-56 on Brooklyn. Memphis is beating the Heat 56-40, actually 56-49 now. Boston up 48-43. And it's 2-2 in the World Series right now. It's only the second inning between the Nats and the Astros. All right, Charles. Let's see. We are at 142 mark. You know what? Let's head on over to your cage, dude. So, all right. So, big things have happened in wrestling since, media-wise, especially. Since we were last on. All right. October 4th happened. Big day, October 4th. Because AEW finally started, was it their on TNT? Yeah, the TNT premiere. So, they have Wednesday Night Dynamite. I love that name. I just like alliteration. I like rhyming. I like stuff like that. Of course, Fox has debuted WWE. And they have been promoting it pretty hard, actually.
Right on SmackDown.
And y'all have to remember, behind Fox is a big old mouse called Disney. So remember that. Remember there was a big old sale about that. So they've got a lot of money, a lot of arm to really promote there. So it's just media giants combining at this point. But all right, Charles. Sorry, that's my little spiel beginning with wrestling, because one of the few things I could actually say something about. But you are the guru, so go ahead.
Once again, welcome everybody to The Cage with Charles, your weekly true picks and all the things that have been going on in the wrestling world. Just like the Brady Bunch, it's just keep growing, you guys. We have new inclusions for another woman that I fell in love with. It's AEW is always going to kind of be in that vibe, because October 4th. Wednesday Night Dynamite premiered on TNT. It's on right now if you're not watching the World Series and you want to get a little bit of taste of the bubbly. As Chris Jericho will say, from 8 to 10 on TNT. They have the rewatches at 10 p.m. They also have something called AEW Dark on Tuesday, where you get to see the dark matches. I love Francisco. Not you, but I love you. You're great. But I love Francisco. I love me a little bit of competition, because I love to see the figureheads trying to create a plan of how it's
competition is great, man. Competition is great.
It's been kind of crazy because WWE is already kind of messed up. They ruined The Fiend. They ruined the guy I love, because I had the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I will spare you the crying details and the cursing, the head scratching, and what happened at the end of the Hell in a Cell. Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. I call him The Fiend. I don't do my calls like Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. I'm like, no, he's The Fiend. It's an alter ego, it's personality. Versus Seth Rollins ends in a stoppage. How the hell do you have a stoppage in a Hell in a Cell match, man, where anything goes? They try to put a media spin onto it. Oh, he couldn't defend himself. We have to take care of the person. I'm like, no, you can't break away the element of wrestling, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a dance. It is a ballet. It is a song that you are pulsing to and gyrating and has storylines come in where they're fighting the championships for love of others. Rusev and Bobby Lashley, I love that storyline. It's trash, but I love it. Or just the spirit of competition. But now it's a new kind of competition, because I basically get 4 days worth of wrestling. And you know what? It's something going in the background. What I have on Mondays is Monday Night Raw. What I got on Wednesdays is AEW Dynamite. I watch it. It's fine. I get NXT on USA on Wednesdays, but it's on the WWE Network, which you get for $9.99 a month. I just watch it on Thursdays or during the weekend. It saves me 30 minutes of commercials, my personal opinion, and I get Friday Night SmackDown. So where does that bring us up to speed? What are the things you need to look out for, guys? Well, Crown Jewel is next week. That is the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, Blood Money, Blood Money. That's going to be holding on. They're going to be doing a couple of things, such as the rematch between Seth Rollins and The Fiend in a Fall Count Anywhere match for one can stop. Well, what's going to happen then? You're either going to have Bray take the belt from himself and go on this cataclysmic run that I would love. I don't think I'll be happy because Drew ruined an excellent character I've been invested in since summertime. Or you're going to have Seth win the belt by some kind of shenanigans, or win it back and retain by some kind of shenanigans, and ruin a character that I have invested in and love, make him look weak. I just can't commit to that anymore. You have Team Flair versus Team Hogan because, they kind of love that old school over there. It's what they've done for every kind of Saudi Arabia match. The last time they did it was Goldberg versus Undertaker, and we know what happened there. NXT has been very good. I will tell you that now. Them shifting from an hour to a 2-hour program hasn't really hurt anything. The only thing that hurts for me is that I still feel they need to kind of build some guys better because remember, NXT used to be the developmental. So you always had the cream of the crops, but then there was a little bit, you're looking for the diamonds in the rough. It's kind of tough. Friday Night SmackDown, they're really trying to make you love Cain Velasquez. He's against Brock Lesnar in his WWE Championship at Crown Jewel.
Okay, so hold on, Charles. So now that I educated you on hockey, all right? A bit today. All right, so you got to educate me on wrestling, all right? So you're telling me there's a developmental kind of, like, how do the shows work? Because I know you have SmackDown, I know you got Raw, I know now you have Dynamite, you have AEW Dark. I mean, why are there different shows? Why are there different names for that? Why isn't it just like, like...
I'm glad you asked.
Exactly. Please explain that to me because I've never understood what it signifies that, okay, this guy's only on SmackDown, this guy's only on Raw, this guy's on Dynamite, this guy's on whatever. Like, I mean, does it matter where you're placed in whichever show, whichever card? I'm not even sure how you explain it, but how it's the terminology.
Yes, no, possibly. So I'm going to go with the AEW because it's the easiest thing to explain.
All right.
AEW Dynamite is the live weekly single true show where AEW propelled to their pay-per-views. Next one's Full Gear in Baltimore.
Okay. Okay, so AEW Dynamite.
Brand, yes.
Okay,
AEW Dark. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. So AEW Dynamite, that's like their premiere show. That's their like trying to make a comparison like like Monday Night Football. All right, Monday Night Football. That's the premiere game for the NFL every week.
I'll give you a better example, Francisco.
Okay.
AEW Dynamite, what it is? It's your Grey's Anatomy. And AEW Dark is that spin-off, The Private Practice.
Okay.
With that one lady.
That works too.
But you get where I'm going here, right?
Yeah, I get where you're going.
Time matters, and one really doesn't, and that's why Grey's Anatomy is like season 14.
Mm-hmm.
And then Private Practice was canceled or ended, whatever you want to call it. AEW Dark is the dark matches. Dark matches are just there to get the crowd hot for the actual TV show being televised. Mm-hmm. It's stuff that you watch for people who are coming into. So there's dark matches that happen before the show begins for the people who get there early. And then there's dark matches that happen after the show's done for the crowd to stay home. WWE does it as well, but they do not broadcast the dark matches. But AEW does.
Okay.
It's an hour television more.
Okay, so the dark matches. All right, so I'm trying to understand. So dark matches are kind of
preseason.
Okay, or like in the Olympic tournament, it's like the qualifying matches type of thing.
Sure, for AEW does because even if they're dark matches. Now, mind you, in regular wrestling, dark matches and live events have no bearings on actual storylines. AEW says that dark matches still affect wins, losses. Okay. So I think it's a way for them to effectively show talent group that they have and also get an additional hour of television. I don't know the ratings are. I know what the ratings are for AEW Dynamite and all the other ones. I don't know how Dark has done, but I think it's more for an enticement to bring people in. And look, it's an hour if they're going to get the funding and everything that works. But do I view it as inconsequential? On the concept of dark matches, yes, because my whole thought process is if the matches still matter, even though they're taped and they're not live. So what happened last Wednesday for AEW Dark is what's broadcast this Tuesday. That's the clear delineation here. But if they say it matters, why wouldn't you just tack on a third hour onto Dynamite? I understand programming TNT, it's kind of tough to do, especially this time of the year, because with the sports going on, everything's on Bleacher Report until it comes back. I digress. But that's really the distinction between Dynamite and Dark. It's a way I feel to get more talent out there, because on the Dark matches, you even have guys who matter, such as Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and even Cody on there. And usually Dark matches might be reserved for the new talent to get interviewed, and then for just to keep the crowd hot and ready for the actual television show. And then afterwards, just stands there as a thank you. For the WWE world, I will try to explain this the best I can, because it's kind of tough.
All right. So AEW has two has the Dark shows and has the Dynamite. All right. So I just want to. Okay, so that's that. All right. So WWE. All right. So let me ask you, because I was at the Panthers game and they were advertising that they're having WWE. Like, I don't know when it's coming. I'm not even sure. You probably know. But they're gonna have it at the BB&T Center here. So is that gonna be like a show that's gonna be televised, or I'm not even sure.
It depends. It could be a live event, because they do live event tours, because that's how they get a percentage of the revenue. WWE gets their money through 4 ways, you guys: the television, the apparel, video games. We'll have a Don't Buy WWE 2K20, you guys. I've heard it's really broken. And then the live events that come in. I have gone to live events for SmackDown. I've gone to live events for NXT, and I've gone to actual televised SmackDown, which was fun for Charles. So live events, if you hear live events, right? So they come to BB&T, but it's not on a Monday, Francisco.
Yeah, they said live. Yeah, it was like WWE Live or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a live event. It means nothing happens in the basis of the story. The reason why they do live events too is for your purposes, because they'll have some guys who are feuding against each other wrestle on those live events, so they can figure out the chemistry. They can figure out the dance, you guys. They can figure out, do I dip her low or dip her half?
So it's kind of like a dress rehearsal that they charge for.
Yes, and you know what? I actually do thoroughly enjoy the live events for 2 reasons. One, there's really no promos going on that much, so you don't have things eaten up by TV time by guys or girls speaking and furthering storylines. You get matches, and the matches also can kind of be good, and they kind of amp up for people. Like the live event that I went to a long time ago was AJ Styles against John Cena against Jinder Mahal in a no DQ match, and that was pretty damn good. And then the TV show I went to, the one that was recorded, was Kofi Kingston teaming with Kevin Owens versus Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan. And that was fine too. But TV quality is supposed to kind of whet your appetite, so you want to do the pay-per-view. The rule of thumb is this: every now and then give the viewers a good TV show match, but you want to keep it average and adequate and get the storylines to further them out to want to watch the pay-per-view when they have supposedly free reign.
Okay. All right.
That's me if I was propelling it to you and explaining it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So those are the okay. So now, explain to me how the distribution of the shows work for WWE, because I've heard Raw and SmackDown and all that type of stuff.
I got you. In the beginning, there was just Raw.
Then there was Light. Let there be light.
Get to a Raw, right?
Yeah.
And then they got bigger. They had a second network, SmackDown. Right? We don't talk about the failed experiment that is the ECW revival, but it's been Raw and SmackDown for a long time. Those are spearheaded by Vince McMahon. There's a talent of rosters in the WWE that's like over 60 people. So instead of granted, today's problems and concerns is that you're not even utilizing the roster, but I'll get that on a different segment because I don't have 3 hours right now. But
come on, not everybody plays Ice Climber and Smash Bros. Come on.
yeah, true. But there's select brands that have specific titles, so it's their own thing. Every now and then you have a worlds kind of collide. So I think the best way I can kind of explain it maybe to you on the possibility, the realm of understanding is, and I think this is kind of relevant, whenever they clash against each other, such as Survivor Series or Royal Rumble,
Okay.
Think of it like the Olympics, right? Team America versus team whatever, right?
Okay.
You have, okay, so we talked about hockey. You have the NHL and then you have the KHL, right?
Right.
But there's some, Olympic hockey guys for America going from there, and some guys in Russia or Canada, right? So that's really what it is. That's, I think, the best way. It's treated as being sometime, and I say sometimes loosely because, mind you, this is still scripted, so it changes a little bit.
Okay.
That it can fluid out, but Raw has its own specific titles: the Universal title, the U.S. title, the Raw Tag Team Championships, the Raw Women's Championship, and then
So-
you have SmackDown.
So that's kind of like in boxing where they have the different divisions and
Lingo and all that stuff.
right. Okay.
Yeah, and then SmackDown has similar things. SmackDown has a WWE Championship, has the Intercontinental Championship, the respective SmackDown Women's title, and the respective SmackDown Tag title. NXT was Triple H's baby. NXT was H's responsibility because he is the actual son-in-law of Vince McMahon.
Which is currently
Has
airing
the
on USA right now,
responsibilities,
actually.
So the new, currently airing on USA right now, and instead I'm talking about it. So what it was is developmental to bring in people who, because newsflash, you just don't become a wrestler overnight, right? So it's the way to bring people into touring, the way to bring people into the way of the ring. H is always trying to get people outside the box. He wants former football players. Tino Sabatelli, who was also Sally Piscatelli, a safety for the Buccaneers, is in that thing. Former gymnasts, former military people who had that potential, they develop. And then you have the wrestlers who were wrestling in the Indies or who had wrestled with WWE before and they came back a la Drew McIntyre. And what happened was it got so big that, USA realized they were losing SmackDown. So they said, hey, if you do NXT Live, NXT used to be a taped show. So they said, hey, let's put you on live. So USA, with the help of because NXT used to be on the WWE Network only for $9.99 a month.
Okay.
NXT kind of built its own repertoire because they had their own pay-per-views. They were excellent. I enjoyed it. They had the NXT UK brand, which I don't talk a lot often because I'm not crazy about it, but it's Vince's manifest destiny of taking control of every kind of wrestling country in that sense. Soon he's trying to do NXT Japan. We'll talk about that one day. But NXT has earned its elevation. The ratings show differently because everybody's watching AEW Dynamite, and then NXT is only averaging about under 1 million, whereas AEW Dynamite's averaging about 2.5 million.
Yeah, because you're going up against their premiere show.
Yeah, and not even just that, but there's actual former WWE cast-offs on AEW that people are invested in. Pac, John Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, all these guys. And then on NXT is you have to really be invested the way I've been invested to know these guys' names. Because for every Johnny Gargano, there's and please no insult to Boa, but then there's a Boa, and Boa's kind of lame.
Okay. Hey, okay. Question has popped up now that you mentioned that. All right, so you said there are some cast-offs from the WWE that are in AEW right now. Okay? So
yes.
Now these guys have their characters, their personas, or what have you. Can they translate those to AEW, or is it kind of like a copyright thing?
They can't. It depends.
Okay.
You know who they are, but you're not going to take it. Dean Ambrose is not going to be Dean Ambrose in AEW. It's going to be John Moxley. And I'll give you a better example because it doesn't even translate to AEW. I mean, granted, what Vince has been trying to do is set up the guys who want to leave with 5-year contracts, just so AEW doesn't get them. But
it's like a bad cell phone bill. It's like a bad cell phone contract. You're stuck for this for 2 years.
Pretty much, and because there is that fear. What if they became better? Because that's a similar situation happened in WCW. Hogan left, Nash left, Hall left, the Steiners went over to WCW. You don't want to see people see actually that the grass is green on the other side. So there are certain copyright names. Like Enzo is now just Zoe. Big Cass is now Kaz XL. Neville isn't Neville. He's not Adrian Neville anymore. He's Pac, which was his wrestling name beforehand. John Moxley was John Moxley before he became WWE because you're given a different set of characters. Very rarely. For the longest time, Cody Rhodes, when he went off to go do his own thing at Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, couldn't use the Rhodes name. He was only known as Cody. And that's the trademark. And that's Vince kind of being a DB. But here's the thing. Dusty Rhodes' real name was Runnels, so I can kind of get that too if we as a business have that patented out. It's just the synonymous because there's a lot of wrestlers. Like, I'm going to tell you guys something. It's going to break my heart, to tell you guys this, but Chris Jericho, who I love.
Right.
I got him on the back 10 of top 10 favorites. His last name really isn't Jericho. It's Chris Irvin. But with all respect to pro says, he had Jericho before WCW was bought out by WWE. So guess what he got to keep? I'm thinking his last name. So there you go.
Okay. I mean,
I feel like I could teach you.
Yeah, Chris Irvin doesn't have the same, bite to
The
it.
finishers wouldn't work the walls of Irvin.
No, it does not.
Or Irvine.
I don't know.
Love him though. Love him. Follow him on Twitter, Chris Jericho. It's funny.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So we're at the 2-hour mark, dude. I mean, gosh.
The 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
I couldn't give you 4 more hours, but that's for.
No,
that's
I actually liked that you educated me on it because I never. Okay, so my best friend from when I was like, preteen, whatever. He was a WWE fan. All right, he watched and WCW. He watched it. He would watch it every week. I would be there when you watch it, but I would never get it. I didn't get it. I don't understand. I didn't get what's the system. I like playing the games on N64. That's fun, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's like that funny guy has a weird mask and stuff. His name is Mankind. That's cool. That's and there's some personalities that you knew like The Rock and stuff like that, but I never got it. So this is like the first time I actually had somebody explain it to me. So I'm actually very much. I actually want this. We should do this next time. Next time again. Like, hey, what does this mean?
Well,
what is that?
To educate a goof. We'll play off To Kill a Mockingbird. But Francisco, there's one simple way of how to learn wrestling. Go to a wrestling event at the BB&T Center.
Ooh. Hold on. When did the Panthers say that was happening? Do you know? I can look.
I have no idea.
Okay, 1 second. BB&T Center, because I mean I've taken you to hockey. It would be only right for us to go to a wrestling event at the home of my favorite hockey team. Let's see. So BB&T Center, and we're gonna keep on the air because why not? We'll keep it running. I don't have to be kicked out of here just yet. WWE Live, October 25th. Actually, that is this Saturday.
Are you kidding me?
Or Friday. It's a Friday. Yeah, it's Friday.
Well, that's way for me to take this.
What happened?
But that's way too soon for me to know. I'm prepared for that.
Yeah, October 25th. Yeah, Ticketmaster.com. There it is.
Those sponsors.
Yeah, they got lower bowl only seating. Yeah, they're going for let's see. I say $20, $30. You want to get a little closer. They got floor seats as well. Next to the ring.
About live events, they are cheaper.
Yeah, $65, $90 for if you want to get on the floor there. $115 for one of them. And if you want to...
Yeah, we're not going to make you guys do that.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll be getting Club Lexus, which is where the owner's seats are for the Panthers, and where you can have your caviar and your swordfish and all that stuff. All right, so we'll discuss that off of air, see if we could do that. But thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry that Andrew could not be here. We'll most likely have him next week. But thank you, Charles, as we journey through hockey and wrestling and basketball and even baseball. And we'll see you guys next week.
Take care, everybody.
Adios.